Hello and welcome back to the channel and another one of our classic bike auction reviews. This time we're with Charterhouse for their October auction and we're going to do things a little bit different. We are going to take a closer look at around about 10 or 12 bikes, but what I'm also going to do is just take you for a walk around the auction so you can see some of the other bikes are there, and what I'll do is I'll drop the prices of what the bike sold for or whether they sold at all onto the screen so you can see what happened at the auction. So you're going to see a lot more bikes than what you normally do in a shorter time. So join us and see what we found. Right, we'll start at the front hall where there are some race bikes, and front of the queue, 1978 TZ350, £7,500 to £8,000. We'll drop in the prices, as I said, to let you know what these went for. Next to it, real classic here, 1962 Sealy Gold Star 500. Great for maybe going down to the Goodwood Revival. You could get into some races with that maybe, but I think you need to know the right people. And then next to it, the sort of Italian version really, the Ducati 250. I know the different capacities before you all start shouting at me. And then another Ducati next to it, 1966 350 racing motorcycle. That's up for between £5,000 and £6,000. And then another Gold Star of 500, and that one's 10,000 to 11,000 guide. Look at the old. Is that twin leading? No, it's not. It's only single. But yeah, drum brakes on a race bike. You can't imagine it. And then something a bit more modern, 1990 TZ250. Remember the road version, the TZR 250, and yeah, good little. What they be historic race bikes now, I suppose. And then along at the end there, just to show Charterhouse's commitment with bikes, they are a sponsor of this current race bike. So we'll wander through into the main hall. Now here's a rarity for you. I'm sure some of you bikers from the 80s and 90s will know what it is, and obviously the name is on the side. This is a Quasar, and this was the brainchild of a guy called Malcolm Neville. Numbers seem to be unsure. This one is one of the Suzuki engine ones. I believe he made less of these. Originally they were Reliant engines, and you can see with this the Suzuki engine is sat down there at the front, and then if you remember the Suzuki 850, it had that drive shaft arrangement. But what a wacky thing. This is absolutely glorious. Now this apparently is one of the last actually completed. It was finished off by a chap called Mike Ryan. Now hopefully in the near future we are going to be doing an interview with Mike, because he was involved with a lot of the Top Gear cars. So if you want to make sure you catch that, you need to whack that old subscribe button. And the other interesting thing with this one, hub-centered steering. Now remember the wacky Alf race bikes of Ron Haslam? Well, that's got it on this as well, and it's just brilliant. I think it's great fun, and it was actually ridden to the auction. Obviously the feet first thing never really did take off. This one, estimate wise, £6,000 to £7,000. Who knows? I really don't know. We'll flick on screen now what it actually made, but hey, what a wacky thing. I just absolutely love it. Right, let's wander towards the main hall. Right, we're going to start in the main hall. As you can see, there is a very large number of bikes here. So what I'm going to do is pick off the ones that I know are of more interest to you. So we'll start at this end and work our way forward. Nice little Honda C200 there from 1964. Obviously fairly early for the Honda side. You can see that Honda Cub style front to it. But the one that's really got my eye is the little Yamaha Fizzy behind it. How many of us started our biking career on one of these? This is one of the later models. It's a 1980, so it hasn't got those sort of, what I think are fairly important to a lot of people, are the original bicycle style pedals on it. So this is one of the later models. It's had a total restoration. It's got a really large history file with it. Obviously a lot of people love these in that original, I can't remember what the colour name was, pop it in the comments if you remember, but that purple colour. This one looks really nice, apart from the forks just could do with a little bit of a tidy up, but the rest of it does look really nice. Estimate wise, £4,000 to £6,000. Yeah, with a fair wind, I think it might get up to the bottom end of that. Yeah, I'm not so sure. We'll have to see. So let's work our way through. What have we got? Oh, nice little Honda CB350 there. 1974, that looks really tidy, and that one's being sold without reserve. So that's a nice little number there, isn't it? What have we got over the back there? Little Suzuki TS 185, early Suzuki trials bike. That looks pretty tidy. Looks quite original actually. And then what we got here? Little Motor Guzzi 750T. Yeah, I did read that off the top. That is up for between 1,000 and 2,000. We'll let you know what that went for. And now, actually, as I swing the camera around, sorry about that. We'll look at this little Suzuki T200. Now, we're going to look at a Suzuki GT250 later, and this was the predecessor. I believe these were also called the Hustler. I think this is a really pretty bike. It's an import, as a lot of them have been. It came in 2017, and it's had 3,300 spent on its restoration. It's not been used for the last 18 months, and it's only up for between 3,000 and 3,500. So in real terms there, you're getting the bike for the cost of the resto. As we know, restoration costs can run away, but this does look really nice and tidy. Paint on it looks really nice. Yeah, like that one. We'll see how much that went for. And then let's work our way along. Oh, big old beast in the back there, Triumph Trophy. Yeah, made for people that have got a lot more strength in their legs than I have, but he's up for just £500 to £1,000. So, yeah, it's an awful lot of bike for not a lot of money. Now, I know it's not a 50, 100 or a 125, but yeah, a lot of us, and I had a good mate with one of these. I think it was the 125. He did a little sort of restoration job on it. I think these are really nice. At £1,500 to £2,000? Yeah, it should do that, shouldn't it? Surely. So let's have a look round. What else have we got? I've got another one of our pocket rockets here. Now this one, Honda CBR 400. So that's the inline version of the 400 capacity bikes. Gear drive cams. Obviously, like a lot of these, I imagine this was probably an import. And again, this is it's a bit like a mini Fireblade almost, isn't it? And CBR 400, gear-driven cams, yeah, what's not to like? A lot of nice engineering in there, isn't there? Look at the lovely alloy frame. Paintwork looks really nice. And price-wise, only £2,500. I think it should do that. So, let's have a look at this one back here, because this caught my eye. Kawasaki Z650. Now, if you haven't got the budget, or the, bit like me, the leg strength of a Z1, how about one of these? Z650, it's imported from probably the USA. You can tell that. Notice the little side indicators. That tends to suggest it's an American bike. And this one's back in 2017. It came in. The current owner purchased it in February this year, and it was last ridden in August. So not quite sure what's happened there as to why they've decided it's not for them. But price-wise, just £2,500 to £3,500 estimate. So I imagine it's going to do that really easily, but you'll see on screen whether it did or not. And then we're going to swing round, and then we've got another one of our pocket rockets, which is the Honda VFR 400 NC30. It's a matching numbers bike. Again, I believe like a lot of them, it's an import. However, this one is a bit nice because it hasn't been restored. It's got the original bodywork on it. It's got that red, white and blue colour scheme that everyone seems to like. And not, what's not to like? Estimate-wise, £5,000 to £6,000. I think I don't know. I think as the bubble burst a little bit on these, it might need a fair wind for that. But when you look on screen now and see what it went for, you'll know whether I got it right or wrong. So we'll have a look at a couple of the top-end bikes that they've got at the front of the auction room here. We've got a Triton 6T 650 from 1963, and I'll be quite honest, that means next to nothing to me. I know the brand, and that's about it. And then we've got this Vincent D Series D Black Knight from 1955. So very much an enclosed bike there. I'll be honest, I've never seen one before. Estimate-wise, £40,000 to £45,000. So that's very much one of the British bikes that are holding up their end of the the price. So what else have we got here? We've got a little early Triumph Daytona Cafe Racer. I think that's one of the, is it CR do these kits? Does look pretty nice, that, actually, doesn't it? You know, some of these Cafe Racer conversions, let's have a look from another angle. Some of these Cafe Racer conversions can look a bit, how should we say, agricultural, but that one does look quite nice. I quite like that. So estimate 3.3 to 3.6. Let's see what it went for. And then behind it, it's the, I think, slightly custom version of the Z1100. Obviously, a development from the original Z1 and Z900 and Z1000. Looks really nice in the blue colour there. 3 to 4,000. Yeah, might need a tailwind, but we'll see how it got on. And then a little bit of Italian Exotica there, or mini Exotica, Levada Jota, 1000cc triple, quite resplendent there. 8 to 10,000 pounds. Yeah, I can remember a few years ago they were even more money than that, weren't they? So let's move in to this Z900. I think this one went through the auction last time and failed to sell, so it's coming through again. This time it's estimated £3,500 to £4,500. I really don't like that exhaust, if I'm honest. It's, yeah, that should be on a 90s race bike, shouldn't it? I don't think that helps its perception. But if you want a cheap way into Z900 ownership, you're not going to do better than that, are you? So what else have we got if we move down a little bit? Well, GS 1000G. We've got, you know, that was at that time Suzuki's sort of big capacity bike. Obviously, it's very quickly got taken over when the GSXR and GSX versions came in. But that one does look very nice and original, doesn't it? Does look tidy, that one. Nice original look. I don't know if they're fully original, but original looking exhaust. So the next one I want to look at, I think this is a really pretty bike, but I think the estimate might be a bit strong. So this Kawasaki Z1A from 1974, so one of the early models of the with the Z1. Now, this has got an interesting history. It was purchased by the current owner in 1996. He rode it for about 1,000 miles and installed it away in 1997. And didn't do anything with it until 2023, where he pulled it out and decided to do a 2-year restoration. Kept a lot of the original parts, so things that, you know, quite often get sort of lost are like things like the exhaust, and it just looks really, really nice. The chrome on it looks good all the way around, and it's just really nice. Estimate wise, 12 to 14. I think these are softened. You know, the whole market is, you know, is eased a bit. I know the best of the best tend to do well, but this one, I just think maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 was probably more of a figure, but I don't know. I'll be on the screen so you can tell me how wrong I was. You're never shy of doing that. What else have we got along here? Anything? Yeah, there's a Kawasaki. Is that a VN 1500? No, VN 800. Yeah, I know probably somebody out there likes it, but not me. But we'll be looking at what that went for. And then little, well, not so little, Kawasaki Zephyr 7. Oh no, it's 1100. Sorry, the 1100 version of what I've got the 550. It's very much a sort of follow on from that sort of retro styling era in the mid 90s. Little QR50 in the back there. I think that was in the auction last time, but unfortunately didn't quite make its reserve. That's up for 1,800 to 2,000. Again, they're a rare old bike, aren't they? You know, even the ZR50, the sort of normal, shall we say, sports bike version was quite a rare beast. That, you know, is even rarer. So let's have a whiz down the middle here. What have we got? We've got a couple of British 750 Norton, estimated 5 to 7. Cool. I don't know really. And then we got, what have we got here? Doesn't it? Oh, it's an aerial. Is that a square 4? Yeah, it is actually. I do know a little bit about British bikes, just not a lot. and that's up for £7,000 to £8,000. And then, oh, this is nice, isn't it? Honda 754. That looks very original, doesn't it? That looks right. Four in the four pipes. What year is that? 75. So that must be of a K2. That must be quite a late model. So I thought the K2s were earlier than that. £5,000 to £6,000. Yeah, that doesn't seem a lot for a Honda 750, does it? So, especially one in such nice condition. You know, it's just looking. You know, you looking round it. It looks right all the way round. So. Let's take a step back so you can see the Triumph Trident in front of you. There we go. What's that up for? 4,500 to 5,000. And then the later version of the Honda 750, the K, supposed to be late 70s, yes, 79, 4,500 to 5,500. Go on. Those big chunky indicators don't look. Yeah, they are original, but to me it just looks a bit incongruous with the original design. But hey ho. So we'll wander down the middle here to something which I think is really nice, really rare, and I have never seen one before, and I'll be surprised how many people out there have. This is a 1990 Bimotor YB9 Balearia, or Balearia. Apparently it was a beach in Italy, apparently. There was only 145 of these built. This one has done a whopping 41 kilometres. Not 41,000, not 4,100. 41 kilometres, and probably for most of those it's been pushed around. It's based around the FZR 600, so it's got I think what's it, 100 horsepower engine in it, and this one is rare in a Bimotor, for those of you that know your Bimotors, because it's a two-seater. Most of them are sort of race bike style. There are a couple of little bits where it's had maybe a few adventures, and it's had a couple of little repairs. You can see in the paintwork there maybe. But where else are you going to find a new one? I had a look, there was a few of these that have come to market over time. And this one is actually up for 3,600 to 4,200, which I think, for something so rare, is not an awful lot of money. One interesting thing on this I want to show you. Look at this dashboard. 90s oddball electronic dash. What could possibly go wrong? Let's have a roll round, and then we've got this 2007 Ducati GT1000. Now, I've not seen many of these. I think there is a quite pretty bike. 5,500 to 6,000. Can't really comment. I don't really know the value of those, if I'm perfectly honest. And I think we're going to come round. Let me just dive through the end here. See if I can slice my legs off on the number plate here, because I want to look at this, because this was pointed out. Apparently this Honda GL1000 Goldwing was restored by an engineer, and it shows really. It does look absolutely stunning. Look at the condition of the engine and so on. It is absolutely glorious. So I think it is really nice, and you don't see many of these. I haven't had a sidecar bolted to them or a big fairing put on. This one's up to £7,000 to £8,000. 1976. That must be an early Goldwing, surely. I don't believe they were around much before then. So let's just have a wander down, because we've got the Honda Super Dream to have a look at. I caught my eye earlier. Now, yeah, they're like the Cortina of the classic bike world, aren't they? Everyone either had one or knew somebody who had one. And this one is a 1981, and it's had a few modifications. That it's got the twin disc front end off a CB400. It's got those later reverse Comstar wheels on it with those black lines, which I think are actually a nicer looking wheel. And this one's done 25,000 miles. It's had a lot of recent works, had things like a new cam chain and lots of work on the brakes and so on. Has got a couple of issues. It's got it's starting only on one cylinder and then running on to two. And also there is apparently a little bit of bubbling with the tank. So the other thing is it's a pet thing of mine. I don't think those decals are quite in the right place. I think they should be a little bit higher, because I think the angle's a bit wrong on those. I know I'm being almost petty about it, but it is something that does always seem to catch my eye. So we'll have a wander around in this little annex. Don't see many of these nowadays. Remember, we used to see the FJ 1100 and 1200 follow on, but the XS 1100, you just don't see many of these. Yeah, big brick of an engine there, isn't it? Absolutely. Very much that early or late 70s, early 80s design, but that was the Yamaha's sort of big top end bike. And this one's been pointed out to me. Fans of Henry Cole will know that he is a big fan of Bruff Superiors, and this very much the modern version. Lot 148 is up for between 28 and 32,000. Now, as most of you know, this is something where you tend to spec the bike very much to your own needs, and I think they're like 50, 60,000, something like that when they're new. But this is really, really nice. Be interested to see what that one has gone for. So we'll slide through beside it. What else we've got? We've got a lot of British bikes in the back here. Norton just going by there. An old Douglas there. Not quite sure why it's been held up on planks of wood. Maybe that's just the way it sits. And then we'll wander forward here. What else we've got? Oh, we've got another Laverda in the corner. I'll head that way. Another Jota. Looks really nice in that orange, actually, doesn't it? Don't know if that's an original exhaust, but it does look very appropriate for the bike. Very much looks like something which should be for somebody much longer leg than me. It's 1980 and it's estimated at 6,000 to 7,000. Now I think we've pretty much covered everything we want to in the main halls here. So what we're going to do, we'll cut off and we'll join you again in the front hall where there's some of the project stuff and a couple of other bikes that we would like to look at. So you join us down at the second hall, and this is where there's quite a lot of British bikes, a few spares as you can see in the background on the table, and there's a couple of little gems here as well I want to take a look at. So down the front here, a couple of little British bikes, the Matchless and the BSA there. As you know, that's not really quite our kind of thing. Little Francis Barnett there, but around behind me, look at this. Nice Honda CB500, 1972, got the 4-in-4 pipes on it. Guided 3,500 to 4,000. That's a really nice little thing. And then this is a bit of an oddity. This Benelli, but I don't believe it's been registered, and I think it's done like 3 miles. It's just from 1980. Now apparently this was around the time the Benelli UK operation went bust, so that one is a little bit of a rarity on its own. And then just behind it, we've got one of our pocket rockets from today, which is this really nice Yamaha FZR 250. Now, the story behind this one is it was purchased by the current owner in 2021. It ran well at the time, and it's just not been used since, and so it's decided to bring it back to auction. It's done 21,000 kilometres, and it is up for no reserve, so it will be quite interesting to see what that one went for, because I'll pop it on your screen now. So we'll go along the back. What we got? A little BMW G450X 2008. I didn't even realise they were around that long ago. And then next to it we've got Motor Guzzi Le Mans 1981. Again, that's another no reserve bike. And we'll just run down the far side because it is a little bit outside on the ways. Royal Enfield there. In the background, little fella set. And then in front of us we've got a BSA. Or a couple of little BSAs there actually. Let's have a look and see what the guides are on those, and then maybe we'll drop in what they actually went for. A little C15 there, I think that was more their commuter bike. That is 800 to 1,000, and the A10 is up for no reserve. So we'll see what those dropped in at. And a couple more in front here, another little BSA there. And then a little BSA Bantam project. I imagine one of these projects, the same problems with the Japanese bikes, even though it's no reserve, it's so much money to invest to make it good. It does really deplete the value. And then finally we'll spin round, because we've got one of my favourite project bikes here. I'll try and get it in a decent light. This GT250 from 1977 is a really nice bike. A friend of mine has looked over this earlier. and he's just, I won't use his exact words, but it's unmessed with. Yes, it does need the chrome doing, etc., etc., but the engine's free. It's been parked up for a long time, and it's up for no reserve. So again, we'll pop on what it actually went for on your screen. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a slightly different video format to what we've done before with these reviews. So please do tell me what you thought of it in the comments. The idea was to try and get more bikes through and give you an idea of what happens at these auctions. As ever, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.